Yes, thank you, Steve. Good evening from the back of the Peter Taylor stand inside the famous City Ground on the south bank of the mighty River Trent. And inside this stadium, for a match like this, really for any match, it's a great sight to look around the place. It is absolutely packed. Faces looking down from all sides, red and white scarves all around. And of course the Manchester United section well populated as well in the corner. To my right in the Bridgeford stand, and we're just about ready for kick-off. Nottingham Forest under Nuno now. Steve Cooper's time has come and now gone. They've already played once here under Nuno and lost to Bournemouth, but spirits now have been lifted by their win on Boxing Day at Newcastle United. This is the unmistakable sound of the City Ground. And off we go. Ryan Yates back in the team, captain's armband on, kicks off this match between Nottingham Forest and Manchester United. The red shirts with the white trim of Forest, white shorts, red and white socks. Forest very nearly lost possession. Murillo on the edge of his own penalty area, but it bounces back and Forest are able to play it away. Forest who have Turner in goal, Gonzalo Montiel, Niakate, Murillo and Aina at the back. Then Ryan Yates, Danilo, Dominguez, Elanga, Gibbs-White and Chris Wood, the hat-trick man from St James's Park against his old club, who's scored 4 goals in his last 2 appearances under the new manager Nuno. So he made 2 changes for his first match, 6 for his second, now 2 for his third. Here's Gibbs-White into the penalty area, but he's shepherded wide by Varane, who's following him outside the box, then gives it to the right-hand side. The cross from the right has gone a long way. The shot volleyed by Dominguez is deflected near the penalty spot, wide of goal and behind for a corner. Paul Robinson.
Well, what a fantastic start from Nottingham Forest, picking up off the back of that result away at Newcastle. You heard the atmosphere on our microphones before the game. Home form was a huge thing for Nottingham Forest last season, which kept them in the Premier League. They've been disappointing here, losing 4 on the bounce. They've certainly started with intent today. What a great start.
Yep, they've won only 2 matches this season at home in the Premier League, Nottingham Forest, very much in contrast with last season, and indeed have lost their last 4 home games, the last of which was Nuno's first match in charge. So it's a corner then after that shot from Dominguez, who's the other man to come into the Forest team, was deflected wide. Corner from the left-hand side. It's an absolutely packed penalty area, putting pressure on Onana, who's standing raising his arms there, but it's taken short the corner, and now it's delivered deep into the penalty area towards the back post, but it's over the top of everyone, whether in a red shirt or Manchester United in this not universally liked green kit with the broad white stripes, black shorts and white socks. So a goal kick and a wasted opportunity, Paul.
Well, we finally get a chance to catch our breath after a fantastic 2 minutes from Nottingham Forest. Interesting to see Nuno's team selection with Yates, Dominguez and Danilo in the midfield. Morgan Gibbs-White was so effective in that number 10 role at Newcastle, and it looks like Dominguez is going to play out on the left and Gibbs-White is staying central in that number 10 role. There was a lot of talk when the team came out, we thought, had he pushed Gibbs-White out wide again where he was less effective under Steve Cooper, but no, he's playing as a 10 again today.
Yep, Gibbs-White central. At the number 16, the Argentine, Dominguez, absolutely right, Paul, he's over on the left-hand side, but he looks there as though he's going to try and tuck in as well to me. Bruno Fernandes, ball played over the top for the Manchester United captain. He's tackled by Aina. Forest haven't been able to get it away from their left back position, and Manchester United indeed pick up possession again near the corner of the box, but then Danilo steps in to side-foot it away to comparative safety, and in the end it finds its way back to goalkeeper Turner, who was unsettled there. He was uncomfortable. Bruno Fernandes was quickly on top of him. Manchester United have got it back. Bruno Fernandes crossing, and it's deflected wide by Murillo for a corner to Manchester United.
Really good closing down by Bruno Fernandes, sets the tempo for his team and his teammates following him. But that's a perfect example of a goalkeeper overplaying. You know, the goalkeepers are told now to play, the manager wants him to play out, but there was nothing for him. There was no ball on. He tried to play a side pass out. He gets caught when he should just clear the ball.
So it's a corner for Manchester United in front of the Trent end. Low delivery to the near post. It's deflected out centrally to Wan-Bissaka. He touches it to his left to Menu. Now to Garnacho into the penalty area. Garnacho drives it towards the dead ball line, crosses it. Defender was there with him. Gibbs-White it was. Referee Tim Robinson runs away with Manchester United saying that it deflected off the Manchester United man, which I think it did, because we've got a better angle than Tim Robinson, but it's a goal kick that's been given. So they will pass it out from the back again, Nottingham Forest, and indeed Turner, under no particular pressure there, has passed it straight out of play, way above Montiel's head for a throw into Manchester United.
That's good for Manchester United. They've set the press high. It's something that they've obviously looked at under Nuno. Nottingham Forest have looked to play out, and the goalkeeper already 5 minutes into the game has come under pressure twice from the high Manchester United press.
Yes, he's looked unsettled already. Matt Turner, the American World Cup goalkeeper, as Yates wins a free kick. So I've run you through the Nottingham Forest team. Obviously Anthony Elanga, who's just down in front of us here, playing on the right hand side against his former club, the Swedish international. And Manchester United, no Rasmus Højlund. If you haven't been listening over the course of the last hour, Rasmus Højlund, what a blow for him, Paul. Not able to play today because of illness, just 4 days after all of that outpouring of emotion when he scored that first Premier League goal for him.
Well, as we know, strikers thrive on goals, don't they? And it was a true vintage Manchester United performance at Old Trafford, the comeback win against Aston Villa, and for him to get on the score sheet, you could see what it meant to him. And as a striker scoring goals, he'd want to play and he'd want to continue. His absence gave Marcus Rashford an opportunity down the middle today. Yeah,
and Anthony back in the team. This is where he scored his last goal for Manchester United in April. Manchester United have won their last 11 matches in all competitions against Nottingham Forest. But Manchester United who've not scored in their last 3 away matches. The man who scored their last away goal, Scott McTominay, is on the bench again today. So the Manchester United team, Onana, Wan-Bissaka, Evans, Varane and Dalot, then Menu and Eriksen, with Bruno Fernandes in that advanced role, Anthony, who is on the right, Garnacho on the left, and Marcus Rashford through the middle. Rashford still just the 2 goals this season for Manchester United. Nottingham Forest, who are defending the Trent end, which is to our left. Danilo just chipping the ball away. Here is Dominguez, who had that early chance. Now the overlapping run down the left wing from Ola Aina, who's carried it a long way. Little pass towards Wood on the edge of the box. Turns, faces the penalty area. A left foot shot is over the angle of post and bar and lands in amongst the Manchester United fans behind Onana's goal.
Well, he's full of confidence, Chris Wood, isn't he, after his goal-scoring exploits at Newcastle. But Aina there down the left-hand side, Nuno showed real intent. We looked at the side, we looked at how his formation would be before the game, but it's becoming quite apparent that he's playing a 4-3-3. You know, he's attacking Manchester United. Aina there got on the outside, into Wood. His first thought was turn, face the goal. Even though it was on his left foot, he still had a strike at goal.
Yes, and it's we were told by Colin Fray from BBC Nottingham before the match, he said, you know, he sees all of the Forest games, he knows it inside out. He said he couldn't see Nuno moving Gibbs White away from the central position where he's been playing so well recently.
And the way he played at Newcastle, you could see that it was a huge part of the result there. You know, Chris Wood got the goals, but if you watch the game and you see Gibbs White's performance, but not just at Newcastle, he's been performing really well in a team that's been performing poorly.
Yeah, the question is, who took most confidence from their previous performance, whether it was Forest at Newcastle when they really silenced St James's Park, or whether it was Manchester United, the way that they came back to win 3-2 from 2-0 down on Boxing Day night. When these sides met earlier this season in August, Manchester United also came back from 2-0 down, you might remember. They were 2-0 down after only 4 minutes of that match, yet were able to win it by 3-2. But those sort of thrills for Manchester United have been, for their supporters, far too few apart, haven't they?
Well, I think that's the thing with Manchester United, it's consistency. It's putting a run of games and results together. Far too often they had poor performances, poor results, and then put in a performance and got a result. You know, they were poor against Luton, they won at Everton, they lost to Bournemouth, but then they put a really good performance at Anfield and drew. They lost to West Ham and then they go and win against Aston Villa. You just want the consistency there from a Manchester United point of view. If you look at that pattern and go by the recent pattern, they're due to get beat today.
Well, we'll see. Here's Aina, who can't reach the pass that was delivered to him by Murillo down the left wing, so it's out of play for a throw into Manchester United. Yes, when I saw them win at Goodison Park, when, you know, the atmosphere there that day, because that was the first match for Everton after the points deduction had been announced, you know, they played well. Garnacho scored that amazing goal. You might have thought that was going to be lift-off, but not so. That's the last time they won away, as Forest will run into the penalty area from the left-hand side that Manchester United snuff out, but Daniil, with his bleached blonde hair in central midfield, gives it to his right, to the captain, Yates. Now here's the World Cup winner, Montiel, on the right-hand side. And then Forest go back into their own half, and the central defenders, Niakate and Murillo, together. Willy Bolly is available today, but only on the substitute bench. Gibbs White might have just been caught there by Menu, but Montiel took it on and crossed, and there's a deflection behind for a corner to Forest, this time from the right-hand side.
Some real intent again from Forest. The first thought is to try and break the lines, get it into Gibbs White that time. He gets the ball out to the right-hand side to Montiel, gets in behind, tries to put the cross in, concedes the corner. Gibbs White seems okay, hobbling over to take the corner.
I think he's okay. I think it was just one of those where Menu, when he went into the challenge, maybe just stepped onto his instep, and I think he's all right. And he eventually gets there. Morgan Gibbs White, who Nuno knew well from Wolverhampton Wanderers, but he's a different player now, and he's an older player as well, 23 years old, and very much a part of the good things that Forest do. So it's a corner. Gibbs White, little steps, then a deep delivery towards the back post, which is headed away by Manchester United. Murillo hooks it back into the United box. That's cleared away by Menu. Then the ball's played over the top, but bounces through harmlessly for Manchester United for a goal kick to Erik ten Hag's side. He's standing right on the edge of the pitch at the moment. I was having a look beforehand, Paul, to see if Sir Dave Brailsford was here in the crowd again, but I have to say I cannot recognise him from this distance, from behind yet, and I haven't seen any pictures on the screens of him being here, but they'll be keeping close tabs on what goes on, obviously.
Absolutely. I think footballing decisions now is Sir Jim Ratcliffe coming in. It's a huge point for Manchester United.
Dalot pushing well up after the clearance from Onana, tried to lay it off to Rashford, but Forest have got it back, and here is Alanga against his former club, skips infield, goes past the challenge from Eriksson, gives it to Danilo. Now here's Aina on the left-hand side, the former Chelsea youngster, passes it down into the full-back position. Alanga's continued his run, crosses to the near post. Varane very nearly puts the ball into his own net. He stuck a leg out at it at the near post. Onana was coming, that took it past him and across the 6-yard box, and thankfully from their point of view, wide of the far post and away.
Well, it's Alanga's pace down that left-hand side, not the right this time. He got down the left-hand side, put the cross in, and the communication between Varane and Onana wasn't there. The goalkeeper's come full stretch at his near post. Varane stuck a leg out. Unfortunately for him, it's hit the top of his knee, looped over his goalkeeper and gone harmlessly wide.
And they have now switched over, haven't they, these days, Varane and Evans. When Evans came in to play alongside Varane, Evans strangely played on the right side and Varane on the left, but now they've turned that around, and I suppose that's on the basis of training together, because this is, I think it's 10 different central defensive partnerships Manchester United have had.
But surely that's only the basics. I mean, you've got a right-footed centre-half and a left-footed centre-half. Why not play this way?
Well, it did seem odd, didn't it, when they started off that way, but anyway, they are where they are now. Here's Eriksson playing the ball out towards the right-hand side. Still no Luke Shaw for Manchester United today, no Martial either. He's on the unwell list. Amrabat is also still absent, injured, as Manchester United play it forward towards Menu. Now the ball in from the right-hand side from Anthony. It breaks to Fernandes, low ball in across the edge of the 6-yard box. Garnacho is in there, defender is as well with him, and he in the end threw himself at the ball but couldn't get a touch. However, Rashford crossing from left-hand side into the box. Garnacho back to goal on the edge of the area. Wan-Bissaka now to Fernandes. Fernandes looks to the right-hand side to Anthony, but the pass was just a little short, and Aina was able to play it into Anthony, and it bounces behind for a goal kick, and it is Nottingham Forest 0, Manchester United 0. This is BBC Radio 5 Live on this Saturday evening. All of these Saturday Premier League 5:30 kickoffs are live on 5 Live throughout the course of the season, next season as well. And you can also hear us if you're on the move tonight, if you're heading out on this holiday weekend. You can follow us all the way there to whatever you're doing with BBC Sound. Ball on the halfway line. Wood heads it forward, but that will just bounce out of play for a throw into Manchester United. How's your dad getting on with BBC Sounds, Paul? I was going to ask you that since you introduced him to it.
Yeah, he's now watching the television and listening to me, so I'm not so sure whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, but we've definitely changed his life, John.
So have you shown him how to sync it all up as well?
Oh no, mate, that's even beyond me. That's one of the children's jobs in the house.
That's the tricky bit. That is the tricky bit. But it is possible, boys and girls, as Manchester United win a free kick near the halfway line for a foul on Rashford. As ever, it's going to be interesting to see Marcus Rashford, how he performs today in the central role in the absence of Højlund. Big second half of the season. That's where we are now. Kicking off today for these two clubs, the 20th Premier League match of the season, so second half of the season. And he was amazing, wasn't he, when he got back from the World Cup in the second half of last season?
Oh, I mean, you look at his form last year and you look at what Manchester United did as a team last year, though, where they finished in the league, the trophy in the cabinet. Marcus Rashford looks a completely different player, but he's playing in a team that was struggling as well, struggling for performances and struggling for goals. I've seen him in an England shirt this year as well when we did the England game against Australia. I thought he looked back to his best then, and I thought, go on, kick on from there, but he just hasn't.
Yeah, so a super goal against Italy in the qualifier at Wembley, which was very much created by Jude Bellingham. Here is Dalot with it on the left-hand side for Manchester United in the continued absence of Luke Shaw. Ball played across the penalty area, frustrating for Shaw, having just come back now, ruled out with another muscle injury. Here's Anthony on the right-hand side. Anthony plays it infield towards Mainu, comes back to Anthony. Anthony now looks for a 1-2 with Fernandes, but he was followed all the way there by Aina, and in comes the challenge centre field by Wood, actually, but it's Manchester United with it on the right-hand side. Anthony, Aina went to ground, had to put in that tackle. He did get the ball, and then it bounces for Aina off Fernandes, who's able to sweep it out for a throw-in to Manchester United on the far side near the corner flag.
Started really lively, Bruno Fernandes, hasn't he? I mean, we always see the application from him, but he started the press with Rashford up there. If Rashford starts the press, Fernandes is in and around him. All the good things that Manchester United have done at the moment, he's been at the heart of.
Yes, we almost always see the application from him. Almost. He has had the odd moment, but generally, when he plays well, Manchester United play well. Nottingham Forest 0, Manchester United 0. If you have been out and about and you've missed what's been going on, we'll round it all up for you at half time. With some exciting matches today, not least our commentary match with Dean Smith alongside Ian Dennis. Aston Villa winning to go up to second in the Premier League again. Here's Garnacho for Manchester United, corner of the box, but tried to run his foot over the ball and it just got away from him, and Niakate was able to clear. Here's Gibbs-White now, still inside his own half, gives it to Dominguez on the left hand side, and the Argentine takes it on, gives it back to Gibbs-White, who's peeled out towards the left hand side, but the momentum of the attack has slowed, and those green and white Manchester United shirts are back in position, so Forest have to go back into the centre circle and start again, which they do with the number 40, the 21-year-old Brazilian Murillo. Ball played down the left-hand side. Aina, he's got lots of time and space there. Looks up, here's the cross, but he's overhit it over the 6-yard box, and actually it's kept in play by Montiel on the right-hand side. Now Yates, back to Niakate, then Danilo, back to Murillo, the solidly built central defender, and then from Dominguez out to Aina again. Good confidence from Nottingham Forest, knocking the ball around inside the Manchester United half. Forest, who despite the win at Newcastle on Boxing Day, are still just 2 points above the relegation zone. Here's Niakate, who's going to have a wander forward and then overhits the pass. Montiel, he won't be able to reach that. No, it rolls into the advertising hoardings down in the corner to our right. So still 0-0, goal kick.
I was amazed at how much space that Aina got there. It was a fantastic ball to play him through by Dominguez, but he was in so much space down that left-hand side. He was able to take a touch, bring it to the edge of the box, get a crossing. It came to nothing, but just the ease that Nottingham Forest got in behind Manchester United, in behind Wan-Bissaka. He got sucked into the midfield far too easily.
So 0-0 here. Aston Villa won, Manchester City, the champions, won against Sheffield United. So Manchester City now currently just 2 points off the top. Liverpool play on Monday night against Newcastle. So Arsenal can go top tomorrow. That's the 5 Live commentary tomorrow from 2 o'clock. Arsenal at Fulham as Manchester United come forward. Dalot plays it infield towards Fernandes, but that breaks down. Forest up towards Wood, can stop him. a good distance. Fortunately, it bounced to a teammate, Dominguez, and now Yates is going to carry the ball forward down the right-hand side. That's a clear nudge from Elanga into the back of Johnny Evans, helped him over with his forearm. Evans went down, and it's a free kick to Manchester United at the back.
You know, there's a real noticeable difference when Manchester United track back. Garnacho works so hard to track back to help his defender. You look in front of Dalot, he's tracking back, he's putting in tackles, but as he's doing that, I'm looking across the other side of the pitch. Anthony stood on the halfway line, no tracking back, no sign of defending, getting into shape. He's just stood on the far side. I mean, whether that's something the manager's told him to do, whether he's there as an out ball or not, but it's quite glaringly obvious that his lack of contribution going back towards his own goal.
Yeah, yet to score or assist this season in 20 appearances. So that goal that he scored here in April, that is the one goal that he scored in his last 36 Manchester United appearances. As Manchester United give it away, carelessly playing out from the back. Dalot though steps in. Eriksen surrounded by red and white. Forest have got it back again. Dominguez now here to the right hand side. Ball played infield by Elanga. It goes back centrally to Danilo, who has a look over his shoulder before he passes it to the left hand side to Aina, who's seen a lot of the ball in these opening almost 20 minutes. Aina over there on the far side seems to have on a pair of particularly baggy white shorts, or is that just me? As Murillo has the I don't think there's too much baggy on Murillo. He is a solid individual. Here's Niakate, then back to Montiel, who will go all the way back to goalkeeper Turner. Yep, earlier today, lunchtime, exciting matches. Luton 2, Chelsea 3, and Celtic winning the Old Firm match 2-1 against Rangers. So first defeat for Rangers finally under Philippe Clement. And then two other big games in the Premier League. Crystal Palace winning 3-1 against Brentford, so that's 5 defeats in a row for Brentford. And Wolves winning again 3-0 against Everton, so that's 4 wins in a row for Wolves. So we'll have more on all of that at half time, and of course I'll let you know when the lines are open to speak to Robbie Savage and Chris Sutton on 606 tonight. Manchester United with the ball inside their own half. Eriksen just rolls it over the halfway line. Dalot is going to be able to get his head down and attack the Forest defence. Gives it square to Mainu, square again to Fernandes, now into the box to Anthony, overlap from Wan-Bissaka, but that's blocked away by Danilo, and the ball will bounce out towards the far side, but Wan-Bissaka keeps it in. Good flowing move from Manchester United. That Anthony in field towards Eriksen, then Anthony to Dalot, but Elanga was able to put in the challenge. However, Anthony's continued to move across from right to left, and he won it back, gives it to Rashford, who carries it out towards the left wing. Marcus Rashford, goodness knows why he's been booed by the Nottingham Forest fans, and then it's lost by Garnacho. So Forest through Montiel can play it to the halfway line. Now Johnny Evans leans forward, heads it. He might have been shoved over by Wood there, but he got to it. Anthony misses his pass to Fernandes, so Forest have got it back, although Yates stretches, can't reach it, so Manchester United in possession again. Wan-Bissaka 30 yards out, high crossfield pass under the head of Montiel, and Yates lifts it to the halfway line, where Manchester United resume possession again. Still 0-0 if you've just joined us here on this dry, slightly nippy night in the East Midlands. Anthony back in position on the right hand side. Wan-Bissaka is there, but the Forest now back in their positions. Long ball over the top for Bruno Fernandes on the right hand side. Thought about crossing it, but Danilo was there with him. Anthony on the right hand side, ball at his feet, just drags it, gives it infield towards Mainu, whose initial touch was heavy, and that meant that Forest should have been able to clear, but Eriksen has it back for Manchester United. And then Bruno Fernandes receives it from Anthony, tried to hit a pacey pass into the penalty area towards Garnacho, who is the man through the middle at that point, and then a free kick for possibly a handball by Anthony. Free kick to Nottingham Forest. Paul Robinson.
Well, Manchester United enjoying their first real spell of sustained pressure there. They put a couple of decent moves together, and it's Wan-Bissaka getting down the right hand side, interchanging with Fernandes. But the impressive thing from Manchester United there, they ring-fenced Nottingham Forest, so when they did lose possession they quickly won it back. That's the first time in the game that they've done that.
So still 0-0. Last time that Nottingham Forest got anything from Manchester United was back in 1995 in a 1-1 draw here in the Premier League, when Eric Cantona scored from the penalty spot, which gives you a very clear idea of how long ago it was. but of course Nottingham Forest spent so much of that time down in the lower divisions. This their second season back in the Premier League, and already, really, have to say, battling for survival. That's what Nuno is expected to do after the departure of Steve Cooper. Forest on the back foot. Manchester United playing it back to Evans in the centre circle. He just taps it to his right to Varane, and Varane, as the wind just begins to get up as well, I noticed the players' shirts showing us that, as Wan-Bissaka as well takes a little weaving run which takes him close to the edge of the penalty area. Bruno Fernandes with a cross, left-footed, and Murillo leaps in. Ericsson tried to slip it through towards Rashford on the edge of the box. That didn't work, intercepted. Aina just hoists it up in the air. Yates heads it away, and Manchester United at the moment have just assumed control, Paul.
Yeah, it's just got a little bit scrappy, hasn't it? Manchester United having good possession in front of the Nottingham Forest back four, but when they do lose possession, they give it away very quickly again, Nottingham Forest. Manchester United doing well with a high press.
Yep, that promising opening from Nottingham Forest is just threatening to fade away. Here's Dalot, and then Ericsson with a pass. That was hit at pace to the edge of the area. That might well have been a foul. It was by Johnny Evans, who just threw himself into the challenge with Wood, who is congratulated by Dominguez for winning the free kick. Free kick to Forest just outside their own box.
Going back to what you said, John, about Nottingham Forest, and the bottom, you look at the bottom of the table, they're only 2 points over the bottom three. Nuno has to keep them in the Premier League. I mean, it's the second season, like you said, in the Premier League. What is their expectation? For me, the hardest season is the second season, to establish, to grow. Obviously, Steve Cooper fell foul of the owner wanting progression, wanting a top half finish. You can understand the amount of money that he spent. He wanted to see progression on the pitch. But for me, the second season is the hardest one to, grow as a club and stay in the Premier League. But Nuno has been given the same task as what Steve Cooper had.
Yes, I'm not sure if he's here. The owner, Evangelos Marinakis. We were down before the game, and about 15 yards down in front of us, there are some very comfortable looking red Nottingham Forest seats. They've got a massive television screen in front of them as well, as Johnny Evans' clearance is charged down by Elanga, and the two of them racing for the ball. Johnny Evans, no alternative there but to put it out for a corner under pressure from Elanga. So a corner to Forest, won by Elanga.
Does well, Elanga. It's his pace that gets him into a position. Johnny Evans has got no option, running towards his own goal. He knows that Elanga's behind him. There's nothing else he can do. He tries to clear it against him.
So it is a corner. Gibbs White to take this from the right hand side. Still 0-0. Gibbs White stares infield, just waits. There's the raised left arm. Here he comes with the delivery of the corner for Nottingham Forest, which is actually glanced off the head of Murillo, which takes it wide of the penalty area, but Dominguez lifts it back in. That's headed down and away by Varane. Then the shot from the edge of the area from Danilo. That's blocked. A number of bodies in there inside the penalty area. Niakate with the cross. That will bounce out of play next to the corner flag. Sort of turned at right angles next to the corner flag itself, but beyond the corner flag it is a throw in. It's a sort of turn that you might have seen one or two summers over the road at Trent Bridge. Turned square.
I tell you what, Onana will be absolutely delighted that hit from Danilo was blocked in front of him, because Danilo hit that as it was rising on the half volley. That was travelling.
Long throw into the Manchester United penalty area, away by Menu. Shot from Dominguez, that was blocked as well inside the penalty area. Yeah, the effort from Danilo was on target, wasn't it? Here's a cross from the left hand side into the Manchester United box, but Menu, the teenager, is able to head it away. Danilo, though, Nottingham Forest have recovered from that spell of Manchester United pressure. Gibbs White into the penalty area, but beyond Dominguez. He looked as though he was in two minds about what to do with that, and before he had decided, it had speared past him and over him and through for a goal kick.
He's unlucky there, Morgan Gibbs White, because he's looked up at Dominguez, who just pulled off the back of Wan-Bissaka. They're getting a lot of joy down their left-hand side, Manchester United's right-hand side, and Nottingham Forest. Wan-Bissaka's quite often isolated on his own because Anthony's not giving him any support or any kind of defence. Hence the reason what you said about Aina getting in earlier. Wan-Bissaka is isolated because of Anthony's lack of tracking back.
And lo and behold, the screens above our heads here have indeed picked out Sir Dave Brailsford, who's sitting down in the director's box in front of us, and sitting next to Sir Alex Ferguson in a flat cap, a baggy flat cap. So I think we can possibly take that as a seal of approval from Sir Alex. Long pass from centre field from Varane. Garnacho gets it down inside the penalty area, but it bounces away from him, and Forest will bring it away from the back with Montiel, who passes it at pace, well controlled by Gibbs-White, who turns full circle there away from Anthony, and Forest have got it back inside their own half. Yeah, I thought it was an inevitability really that Sir Dave Brailsford would be here again. Seemingly Sir Jim Ratcliffe has said that he won't be coming to watch Manchester United until the purchase of the shareholding is approved, which is expected over the course of the early weeks of 2024.
And I think the structure in the boardroom is very important, isn't it? I mean, we see temporary CEOs, temporary sporting directors, football directors. I think the structure at the club has to be put in place before any big decisions can be made on the playing side of things, whether that be players or managers. I think Manchester United have been through a bit of hurt recently, and I think they've got to go through a bit more hurt to get to where they want to get to.
Forest clearing from the edge of the 6-yard box with Turner, who just threatened there for a moment, Forest, to present the ball to Manchester United, but they were able to clear it away downfield. So Sir Dave Brailsford watching on, and of course there is also the chief executive Jean-Claude Blanc, who seems that he will be very much a part of things, getting a role on the football club board of Manchester United, the former Juventus chief executive. So change is on the way, but as Paul Robinson says, the expectation is that it's a long process. Forest with Danilo, he was under pressure from Fernandes, and then it flicks Garnacho on the way out of play for a throw-in on the halfway line. 0-0 the score, throw-in Forest.
There's a lot of Manchester United players can take a look at Garnacho. You look at the way that he applies himself every week. You know, his hard work, his work rate, whether it's backwards or forwards, tracking back, helping his defender. He puts in a real shift as Garnacho.
Throw in for Forest on the halfway line. Dominguez on the fall was able to pass it forward into the path of Aina, but Varane was able to move across and clear it out of play on the halfway line. Nottingham Forest with a throw over in front of the Brian Clough stand that Aina is going to take. Again, they crank up the atmosphere. Now he's coming out of the Trent end, but the Manchester United supporters in good voice as well, as their away following very often is. Menu heading the ball away for Manchester United. But it's quite congested over there on the far side. Referee Tim Robinson says it's a throw-in for the home side, which is taken back centrally. Danilo then with the pass right across field from left to right to Elanga, and Elanga rolls it back, and then a curling shot on the edge of the area from Yates. He's trying to get a bit of bend on that. They've got underneath it and sent it curling up by 3 or 4 yards over the top of the bar.
Yeah, it's a good opportunity. He's in a good position on his right foot, just as you say, leans back and just gets under it. The funny incident there, John, while you were doing your commentary. Fourth official, Anthony Taylor. He looks very, very much like Eric Ten Hag stood in front of us. They've both got 2 long black coats on, the 2 bald heads, and the Manchester United substitutes were warming up to the right-hand side. And I just caught a glimpse in the corner of my eye, and it looked to me like Eric Ten Hag was just off walking down the touchline, but it wasn't. It was the other one. It was the other one.
It's the other one. Easily put right. Well, let's bear that in mind as Anthony Taylor actually gets a touch of the ball. It is him, isn't it? Yes. Anthony Taylor, who just taps it to Dalot, who takes the throw down the left-hand side, still 0-0. Montiel arrives and very nearly finds the back of the stand to our left. He arrived at pace and absolutely clattered it up to the back of the stand.
That was a bit of old school defending, wasn't it? When the managers say to you they can't score from the back of the stand.
Exactly. Throw in for Manchester United. Dalot gets it back into the edge of the penalty area. Oh, lovely footwork from him. Then to Eriksson. Wan-Bissaka to shoot. It's deflected, which took the pace off it, and the ball just ran straight through to goalkeeper Turner, who was able to take a couple of big strides forward and gather the ball up. So 0-0 it is. I mentioned Trent Bridge as well, Paul. Referee Tim Robinson. Of course, Tim Robinson was a famous name over the road for many years. One of the better Nottingham Forest opening batsmen, and in England as well with Chris Broad. But as far as I'm aware, not related. Menu in on the challenge, and Danilo is caught in there. But actually, the free kick has gone Forest's way, so Menu's injured himself stepping in on Danilo. He's come off worse. Danilo's okay, he's just wandering around, and it's Menu who's down.
Yeah, Danilo gets the ball first and he just gets it away. And Mainoo's gone in. It looks like he's just caught him, but his foot's at a really strange angle, and as he's gone to tackle him, I think he's just hurt himself.
He slid into the challenge with Danilo, and actually it was as Danilo swiped at the ball with his foot that he caught.
He's caught the top of his foot, hasn't he? He's caught the top of Mainoo's foot as Danilo's passed the ball away. He's kind of kicked the ball through and he's caught the top of his foot that was sticking up at a strange angle.
It's okay, he's back on his feet, he'll be alright. 18 years old. You just shrug that off, don't you? It's a fourth consecutive start for Mainoo's done well, hasn't he? The academy youngster who's had to come into the team. You know, Erik ten Hag obviously has liked what he's seen. Did have an ankle injury early season, but this is only his 7th competitive start of what we hope for him will be an excellent career, and he's all right. And we've got rain now. That's what that increase in wind was all about. The wind increased and now the rain has arrived here next to the River Trent. Nottingham Forest 0, Manchester United 0. BBC Radio 5 Live. Entering now our final commentary matches of 2023. Got 2 more for you tomorrow. Both of the Premier League games tomorrow will be on 5 Live and Sports Extra. Good ones as well. Fulham Arsenal I've mentioned, but also Tottenham against Bournemouth. Very interesting game after recent events. Bournemouth, the informed team coming into this round of matches.
Yeah, and Ange's high line against a Bournemouth team playing the way that they do with Dominic Solanke in the form that they're in. I think there's one thing that you guaranteed tomorrow is goals.
Yeah, so that's on Sports Extra. Fulham Arsenal on 5 Live. And throw into Manchester United down in front of us. That rain is really swirling around, banks of rain we can see sweeping around the stadium. They were advertising membership for Nottinghamshire County Cricket Club, I noticed, on the wall over the way. On a day like this, it feels very appealing to sit and watch cricket at Trent Bridge on a summer sunny afternoon. Garnacho and Montiel are just being spoken to by referee Robinson to throw in. That Dalot takes down the line, comes off Rashford. That Garnacho went in with his foot up there but got the ball, but Forest were able to clear it away downfield. It's been a bit scrappy at times, in all honesty, Paul.
Do you know what, John, that's exactly what I was going to say. I mean, we went in waves earlier on in the game, didn't it? Nottingham Forest seemed to have a good spell, Manchester United seemed to have a good spell. They took it in turns, but now the last 15-20 minutes or so, the game has got a bit scrappy. There's been really very little end-to-end goal-mouth action. The game's all been played in the middle of the park with both teams sacrificing possession after little time in possession.
That's the former England goalkeeper Paul Robinson with us here, watching Nottingham Forest 0, Manchester United 0. Niakate for Forest lifts a high pass out of our sight. Actually it disappears above the edge of the roof, comes back down, Gibbs White, then Bruno Fernandes into the challenge. Ooh, and likewise Dominguez slides in for a 50-50 with Wan-Bissaka, and the ball bounces behind. Referee Robinson, well placed, immediately said goal kick.
Yeah, the referee's in the perfect position to make the decision there. But once again, what makes me laugh, Fernandes is back doing Anthony's job. You look in front of Wan-Bissaka where Bruno Fernandes is defending for his team. He puts in a tackle in a really crucial area. Bruno Fernandes is there. He turns around, looks up at the halfway line, and Anthony, who should be there, he's had words with him because he's back doing his job.
Yeah. I mean, you did suggest it initially, but you know, although are they the instructions that he's been given by Ten Hag, or is he just not doing it? Here's Dalot on the left-hand side. Garnacho again with Elanga. I think we're okay. With a little bit of Steve Crossman there. I think we're back. We are back. If ever indeed we're away. Nottingham Forest 0, Manchester United 0. Rashford. Now Varane on the right-hand side. Ball in towards Rashford. Rashford does well. Takes on and beats Danilo. Then plays it into the penalty area to Anthony, but too many red shirts in there. And in the end, it's Dominguez actually who comes out with the ball and then passes it into the path of Elanga, who's beaten to it by Dalot, who is able to steer it all the way back to the goalkeeper.
That's the first real bit of quality we've seen from Marcus Rashford there. Gets himself into a really good position down that right-hand side. Very direct. First thought, get in the box, get to the byline. And he looks up, he cuts it back. He just doesn't cut it across the goal. He looks up and he finds a pass. He finds Anthony 12 yards out, but he's quickly stifled out.
See, that's what I've found frustrating when I've watched Marcus Rashford this season, and that you will see flashes like that of really what he's capable of, but for whatever reason for Manchester United, it's not able to all add up to the Marcus Rashford that we saw last season. But here's Evans playing back to the halfway line. If you've just switched on, no Højlund for Manchester United today because of illness, so the young Dane is absent. We'll have to see if he's back for Manchester United's next match, who's actually in the FA Cup, the third round of the FA Cup on the Monday night, when they will go to Wigan. We will bring you commentaries all across the many days of the FA Cup third round here on 5 Live. I'm very much looking forward to Sunderland against Newcastle next Saturday lunchtime.
Is that where you are, Johnny? You're up north?
Yes, I am. Well, you can tell us in a moment where you're going, because here's Anthony on the right hand side receiving it from Rashford. Anthony up against Aina, ball stationary, then he's off again, quick feet, goes to the byline. Aina follows him there and actually shepherds him out to the far side, and in the end the ball runs out of play. Final touch off the Forest man to throw into Manchester United. Well defended. Ola Aina, the summer signing from Torino, was at Fulham last season, you might remember. Throwing is taken and then offside against Wan-Bissaka in a free kick to Forest.
It's a really poor one from Wan-Bissaka there. I know he's not a forward-thinking player, he's not an attacking midfielder, but he's in a position where he's looking all the way across the line. He can see the whole of Nottingham Forest back four. He's in a position where he shouldn't be offside.
So it's a free kick to Nottingham Forest. What are your plans third round weekend, do you know?
I have a mouth-watering banana skin potential tie, Peterborough United versus Leeds United.
Of course you do.
Very much looking forward to it.
Of course you do. That's one of our commentaries. So that's on... When is that? Is that Friday night?
I don't know what day it is. What day is it today? It's that time of year, isn't it, when you lose track of days?
It's Saturday. No, it's Sunday.
What, today?
No. When the Peterborough match is. And that was Phil the engineer who sorted that one out for us. Thank you, Phil. Nottingham Forest 0, Manchester United 0. Anyway, you'll see all the fixtures on the BBC Sport website on the football pages to find out exactly when they are. Forest win a free kick over on the far side. Mainu and Yates just sort of bounced buddies together. There wasn't a great deal in that, but it's given us a Forest free kick over on the left hand side. So it's not been, the quality hasn't been great in this match. Still 0-0, not helped by the weather conditions. It's a blustery day next to the river here on the south side of Nottingham. But it's certainly, there is plenty of room for this to improve. Free kick for Forest out on the left hand side, 15 yards inside the Manchester United half. So a very, very high line held by Manchester United, who then drop back into places as the free kick is taken short. Gibbs White lifts it forward. Really not seen much of Gibbs White. That's probably one of the reasons that it's not had too much quality to it, and in the end Murillo just touches the ball out of play under pressure from Dalot, so it's a throw into Manchester United halfway inside their own half. I've actually not made a note, Paul, in terms of good goal scoring opportunities.
Well, I think approaching half-time as we are, I think both managers will go in at half-time. Neither will be particularly disappointed with anything they've seen, but both will be asking for more from their sides. Can't remember, well, there hasn't been a real goal-scoring opportunity other than the possible own goal where Varane took it off Onana's hands. But other than that, there's been no really close, good attempts. But like I say, both managers will be pleased with what they've seen, but both will demand more in the second half.
So it is very 0-0, and Turner with a pass which asked a lot of Aina, but leaping, kept it in with his head right next to the touchline, and then it was driven forward for Manchester United by Wan-Bissaka, but straight out of play for a throw-in to Forest inside their own half. So still that goal that McTominay scored in Istanbul back on November the 29th is the last time Manchester United scored away from home. So they've not scored away this month. Dalot jumps and heads it above Dominguez, and then Montiel lifts a high one forward to Chris Wood. He's not really had an opportunity to add to the 7 goals that he scored this season, the New Zealand striker, and he didn't have much chance with that. Stretching just put it out of play for a throw-in to Manchester United inside their own half, which is taken and lost. Garnacho challenged on the halfway line. Here's Gibbs White, pulls the ball away from Mainu, gives it now to the edge of the penalty area. Alanga with a burst into the box, defenders either side, and he's managed to play it off one of them, and it is a corner to Forest.
Well, really good central midfield, number 10 play from Gibbs White. Dominguez rolls the ball into him. He doesn't take the ball in his first touch, but he shapes his body in a way where he can get round Bruno Fernandes, and he immediately opens up the pitch. That left hand side for them in front of Wan-Bissaka, another problem for them. He plays the ball wide and they get yet another corner.
We did wonder about the Forest system today, with Hudson-Odoi only on the substitutes bench, and there Alanga again, as he has done occasionally, turning up on the left hand side as opposed to the right, and he won that corner against his old club. So Forest to take this from the left. Gibbs White waiting again. We're seeing the Onana crowded, and probably 10 players inside the 6-yard box.
Yeah, what you were saying there, John, about Alanga on the left, that's something that they've changed Nottingham Forest, because he did start on the right, and the point that we make about Anthony and his lack of tracking back and how exposed Wan-Bissaka's been, that's why Alanga's playing out on Nottingham Forest left hand side.
Possibly 13 players inside the Manchester United 6-yard box as they defend this corner. Gibbs White raises his arm in front of the Manchester United section. Gibbs White with the corner, in it goes, and Nana comes and gets a really strong uppercut on that. That was a real haymaker. He almost reached the centre circle. Played back in for Forest, headed across by Yates, and then Alanga tried to tee up a teammate on the edge of the area, but there was no one there in a red Nottingham Forest shirt, and it's Manchester United who break. We're in the 45th minute of the first half, and Gallo wins a throw-in on the halfway line. And very soon we'll be seeing Anthony Taylor. It is definitely Anthony Taylor, because he's holding the electronic board, who will show us how much there is to play at the end of this first half. But it's been, in the main, and there's been lots of effort, of course, there always is, lots of effort, lots of energy and intent in a Premier League match, but no end product. And Nana, clearing the ball downfield, has smacked it onto the side of Chris Wood's head, who is 10-12 yards away from him. So that has bounced back for Manchester United. Wood's okay, although you'll have felt that.
That's inexcusable from the goalkeeper. I mean, he's 10-15 yards outside his box. He's got the whole vision of the pitch in front of him. Chris Wood's not even closing him down. He's 10 yards away from him, and he's hit the ball at Chris Wood at some pace.
I think it might have hit him, on the cheek. Because did you hear it? You could actually hear it go splash.
Well, that's two things in the space of 30 seconds that Onana's done, the punch and then that kick.
Yep. Here is Garnacho down the right hand side, plays a low ball into the box, but Mario comfortably gets that away up towards Gibbs White. So in added time, we've got 1 minute of added time, thankfully, at the end of this first half. Let them get in, reset and start again, and provide something a little bit better in the second half. Turner, long downfield for him. Varane comes for it, knees it out to Wan-Bissaka on the right hand side, and then Fernandes goes back into his own half. So we'll round up, we'll hear more interviews, I'm sure, at half time from the afternoon action, as Manchester United at half time in this match. The line will be open for 6:06 after the half time break. We'll hear from one of Robbie Savage and Chris Sutton, I'm sure, who I suspect won't dwell on what we've seen so far. Paul Robinson, 0-0.
No, it's been a tough battle for both teams. It's been a hard-fought game in the middle of the park. Very few goal-mouth chances at either end. But like I said earlier in commentary, it'll be a game where neither manager will be disappointed with what they've seen. Although it's not been a great spectacle for us or for the neutral, it's not been a great game. But their game plan, what they've sent their sides out with, have been executed. They'll want more from them in the second half. They'll want more urgency. They'll be looking for more in the final third. But both managers will go in at half-time reasonably pleased.
But I'm sure Manchester United supporters will be talking again about their team's inability to create chances, while at the other end, closest we've come was the Varane slice across his own goal, and that shot from Danilo that was blocked by Wan-Bissaka. So we're hoping for better. Nottingham Forest 0, Manchester United 0 at half time. Thank you, Steve. Yes, and as Paul Robinson said to me, Manchester United 0-0 at half time are bringing on their top scorer, the joint top scorer this season, Scott McTominay, and he's coming on for Kobbie Mainoo. The 18-year-old did get a knock, didn't he, in the first half, at least on one occasion. So Mainoo off, McTominay on.
Yeah, he got a knock in the first half, but I, like you, was very surprised that McTominay didn't start the game. I think he'll give them that little bit of attacking impetus that they didn't have in the first half, because as you said, 6 goals is Manchester United's leading scorer this season.
Yep, and Manchester United created next to nothing in the first half. So McTominay on for Manchester United. Forest as they were, Turner in goal, Montiel, Niakate, Murillo and Aina as Bruno Fernandes gets the second half underway, playing the ball back into his own half, with Yates, Danilo and Dominguez in midfield. Dominguez on the left-hand side. Sounds like a tuba being played somewhere. I think it's somebody's door or a chair, but you might not even have heard it. And then Elanga, Gibbs White and Chris Wood. So for the most part, Dominguez was kind of playing towards the left-hand side, Elanga on the right, Gibbs White centrally, but it was quite fluid. So that was Forest. Manchester United with Onana in goal, Wan-Bissaka, Varane, Evans and Dalot. Now McTominay substitute and Eriksen, Bruno Fernandes, Anthony Garnacho and Rashford. So second half, Nottingham Forest are attacking towards the Trent end as they like to do. To our left, that 2-tier stand absolutely packed like the rest of the City ground. Manchester United supporters here in great numbers as well for this match on this New Year weekend, and Dominguez passing the ball back in his red shirt with a white trim back to goalkeeper Turner, all in blue, who clears it over the halfway line where it'll bounce out of play for a throw into Manchester United.
Well, an interesting one from Manchester United. They brought McTominay on, they made the substitution, but from Nottingham Forest point of view, Elanga, who had so much joy down their left-hand side, Manchester United's right against Wan-Bissaka, he started the second half of Forest on the right-hand side up against Dalot.
And you spotted Elanga before the second half had begun. He'd come out onto the pitch on his own before everyone else and was having a chat with the Manchester United substitutes, his old teammates. Hannibal Menchbury, I saw him talking to him.
It was the timing that he was out. I tell you, if he was one of my teammates, John, I'd have had something to say to him. I might have gone over and had a word with him and asked him which side of the pitch he was playing on. But he was out for 4 or 5 minutes before his teammates, mixing with the Manchester United substitutes.
Yes, but I think that comes out of the way of now in the tunnel before the match, when you see the players pictured. Very often you see them laughing and joking, don't you, with the opposition. As Manchester United come forward through the middle with Eriksen, but a challenge came in on him just at the point he was looking to pass the ball forward, and that meant that he was unable to find a teammate in the green and white stripes. But Forest have given it away. Eriksen back to Rashford. A back heel from Rashford is overhit from the edge of the D, and effectively it was like a back pass to Turner.
Well, that just sums this game up at the moment. It just lacks a real bit of quality. You think it's going to kick into life, and then there's just a little bit of decision, the final pass, the last little piece of the jigsaw. There's no quality.
Oh, it's been given away. And Montiel with the cross for Forest, but right onto the instep of Varane, who was able to volley it back out towards the far side. But a powerful run by Montiel to bring a bit of something for Forest. Here's Dominguez down the left. Aina is nudged into by Anthony, who is back there defending in his own right back area, Paul, and he has won a free kick.
Well, that answers our question in the first half. The manager clearly didn't tell him to stand on the halfway line and not track back, because as soon as Nottingham Forest have had an attack down their left-hand side, we see Anthony back in his final third, tracking his runner, defending what he should have been doing in the first half.
Yep, and he won the free kick. So Nottingham Forest 0, Manchester United 0. Lines open, as we heard from Chris Sutton at half-time, to call and speak to them. Why not on this last Saturday night of 2023? So 08 085 909 693, or you can get in touch 85058 or hashtag BBC 606. So 606 on tonight at the usual time. Tomorrow it'll be a little bit earlier, between 5 and 7 after the 2 o'clock kickoffs. Just the 2 matches in the Premier League tomorrow. You'll hear them both on 5 Live and Sports Extra. Forest with Montiel on the right hand side, and now here on the right is the cross from Elanga, which is half cleared by Evans, and then McTominay in a tangle with Gibbs White. The Trent end is up, shouting for a penalty. It was just a tangle. There's no appeal from the Forest players out there, and play will continue. Forest with it on the halfway line. Ball played over the top of Rashford's head, and Murillo brings the ball down like a true Brazilian, has a little dribble with it, even though he's a central defender, and passes it back to his goalkeeper.
Yeah, he's quite comfortable on the ball, Murillo, isn't he? I mean, you described that very well there. It was a tangle. I mean, everyone in the City ground and a Nottingham Forest shirt was looking for a penalty, but you can tell by players' reactions, and Morgan Gibbs-White certainly wasn't. He got up and tried to chase the ball and close it down.
Red and white flag being waved on the far side in the lower tier of the Brian Clough stand. The whole ground again trying to crank up the noise, and inspiring Forest, who've lost their last 4 matches here. And it is Forest who attack with Niakate, actually, who's off on a run down the right wing. The central defender plays it into the box to Alanga, and then McTominay comes across and plays it into Alanga. Could have gone anywhere, but it bounced off the Nottingham Forest man's shins and into the stand.
I wondered where Niakate was going then. He was off on one down the right hand side, wasn't he, the centre half? I mean, it's not often we see centre backs make marauding runs like that. Past 2 Manchester United defenders, got himself into the final third, and then once again it was just a ball that was too heavy for Alanga, just a lack in quality again.
Again, the noise has increased. No rain just now. At points in the first half it was sweeping across the City ground. Manchester United with Dalot clearing the ball, and he's taken a knock and he's stayed down. That means there are gaps now for Forest as they bring it forward. Alanga on the right, clips it across, headed down by Varane, still in the area. Challenge from Bruno Fernandes on Dominguez near the penalty spot. Again, shouts more from the Trent end than there were from the Forest players on the pitch for a penalty.
Well, Dalot went down there like he was really hurt, really injured, and Forest exploited the gap behind him that he'd left, and he's up now and he's back in position. It'd be very interesting to see what his manager and teammates would have had to say to him should Forest have got anything from that situation.
Nottingham Forest getting a little bit of momentum going here. It's still 0-0 if you've just joined us on 5 Live from the BBC. McTominay passing the ball towards the halfway line, but only to Yates, the Forest captain, who will pass it back to his goalkeeper Turner. So there's no Højlund tonight. Rasmus Højlund, if you've just switched on, you haven't heard, he's unwell and therefore not involved today. The other joint top scorer with 6 goals this season. He is still the joint top scorer in the Champions League this season, even though Manchester United are out of Europe. Turner, long and downfield to the right hand side. It's headed infield towards Montiel, who gives it back over there to the far side, and Forest with Gibbs-White go back into their own half again. There's been glimpses from Forest. I think they've been the more enterprising during the course of the game, and here they are now. Long pass, Aina chests it down and he's off on a run against Wan-Bissaka. Wan-Bissaka goes down, Aina still into the box, pulls it across, but actually passed it straight into Evans, and it bounces to safety for Manchester United.
Aina gets in such a good position. He gets around the wrong side of Wan-Bissaka, runs into the box so Wan-Bissaka can't touch him. Wan-Bissaka falls over, Aina gets himself to the byline where the 6-yard line meets the byline. He looks up and once again he just picks out the wrong pass, or he doesn't pick out a pass, he just aimlessly puts the ball across the box, which Manchester United defend quite comfortably.
Ball played through the middle to Chris Wood. Manchester United going to make another change. Wood plays it back to the halfway line. He's on the front cover of the match programme today, Chris Wood, after his hat-trick. Ball played downfield for Manchester United. Garnacho into the penalty area against Niakate on the left-hand side, but Niakate has defended that very well, and actually he's been helped out in there as well by Montiel, and in the end Garnacho ends up on his backside, sitting on the ground inside the penalty area, and Forest win a goal kick when it was played off Dalot by Montiel, and here is the next change, and this is a surprise one. We weren't expecting this coming here today, and that's it from Anthony. Anthony is being withdrawn, and Erik ten Hag does come across. There's a brief handshake between the two of them. We can hear the verdict from the Forest fans. Anthony scored here last season, but he's been peripheral again here today, and he's off. And Amad Diallo is on, who has not been involved at all this season. Was on loan at Sunderland last season, scored 14 goals actually for Sunderland last season, but he's had a knee injury. A young man, 21 years old, of great promise, but has missed almost the first half of the season with a knee injury. But he's on for Anthony.
Well, there must have been a change before the game, because we've got the team sheets here that they give us in the press box before the game, and he's not even listed as a substitute, so that must have been something that Erik ten Hag changed before the game. But yeah, Anthony again, I mean, it's just another game without a goal, without an assist, without a contribution. He's very, very ineffective. I mean, you look at his impact on the game today. I don't know the statistics, but his touches, they must be so minimal. I mean, he's very, very ineffective in a Manchester United shirt, and it's hard when it's not his fault, the price that the club paid for him, but you want to see a little bit. I mean, the minimum requirement is maximum effort, and you don't like to question players' effort, but he just doesn't get involved in the game.
No, the transfer fee up to around about £85 million, so only Lukaku and Pogba are more expensive Manchester United players than Anthony. Here they come forward, and a shot from the edge of the penalty area from Darrow that hits the post. He got a lovely bend on that, arriving, the left back hit the post. Forest survived. Wan-Bissaka plays it across the penalty area, but it bounces down, and suddenly Manchester United come much closer than at any point so far this afternoon to opening the scoring, and then McTominay dives in the centre circle on Gibbs-White and concedes a free kick. And I thought the yellow card was coming out from McTominay there from referee Robinson, and he is going to call him across.
Well, what's an effort from Dalot there. I mean, I had to look twice at the replay because it was so Bruno Fernandes-esque. Down this right-hand side, Fernandes is involved in the build-up with Wan-Bissaka, finds himself on the corner of the box, looks up and he plays it diagonally across the box. Dalot just times his run, doesn't he have to break his stride, hits it with the instep of his right foot. Turner completely beaten in the Forest goal, hits the outside of his post, and Forest survive.
So Dalot hits the post, still 0-0, but a moment there which suggests we might be getting closer to an opening goal. And then McTominay is fouled by Gibbs-White in the full-back area, and Gibbs-White then followed up with a challenge on Johnny Evans. That's a yellow card from Gibbs-White, who's clearly been fired up by the challenge that McTominay put in on him in the centre circle a few minutes earlier, and he looks in danger, Gibbs-White, of losing it here, and his teammates are calming him down, which they have to do. But just a yellow card.
You can see the passion from Gibbs-White overspill there. A couple of incidents, and he went in very, very hard on a challenge, which a few years ago you wouldn't raise an eyebrow at. It looked a really good challenge, but the force that he went in with is what the referee has deemed a yellow card. He's still very highly strung. His teammates are having to take him away from the situation.
Clearly he felt that was a bad challenge by McTominay in the centre circle. And that's why we saw him with that follow-up. I mean, the challenge into Johnny Evans.
He did two, didn't he? He was one on McTominay and one on Johnny Evans.
But the second on Evans was with some force, wasn't it?
Looking at that again, he's very lucky to get away with just a yellow.
Well, VAR will be having a look, and play has not resumed yet. And it looks as though they've had a look and they've decided, yes, only a yellow card. But he was dicing with danger there, and now the frustration here is that Onana has moved where referee Robinson told him to take the free kick, so he's moved the ball 3 or 4 yards in front of the Trent end, and you heard the reaction there, and Onana has just ratcheted things up a little in terms of the volume from the Trent end. Ball played downfield for Chris Wood, who is challenged, and the ball breaks for Forest, and now Elanga runs away from Rashford and has his from Varane, and has his heels clipped from Varane just outside the penalty area, and it's a free kick to Forest over towards the right side of the box.
Well, the atmosphere is really cranked up, like you said. As you watch on the City ground, you look far left-hand corner underneath the scoreboard. This is where all the incidents have happened. Morgan Gibbs-White, the incident there with Chris Wood, and then the foul that was given there when they got through Nottingham Forest, and Varane tripped up Elanga. So the atmosphere in that corner is growing, it's building. Forest have got a really dangerous free kick.
And I think that's a yellow card as well for Varane for that challenge. Certainly the referee had the yellow card in his hand, or it was Dalot. Dalot has been booked, so it was Diogo Dalot and Varane as well. So that both of them.
Varane was quite clinical. I mean,
it was.
Elanga was away from him. Elanga was away from him. He was running into the corner of the box. Granted, he was running into bodies, but Varane took it upon himself just to clip his heels together.
Well, it's an interesting one, this, Paul. Free kick, because Manchester United conceded both goals from set pieces, didn't they, against Villa when they were 2-0 down on Boxing Day night, and still we're nowhere near the taking of this, because Garnacho and Diallo are both standing virtually in front of the ball, and referee Robinson's having to march them back and then put out the spray down the white line. So it's a free kick over towards the right. Gibbs White and Danilo are there together. It's still 0-0. If this goes in, you'll know about it over the airwaves. Danilo waiting. Will be an in-swinging delivery from him with his left foot. I think more likely Gibbs White. Again, the breeze, the wind is just getting up here. The referee blows his whistle, but Gibbs White actually comes forward and is just going to move the ball marginally. Danilo runs over it. Gibbs White delivers it. Excellent header away for Manchester United from McTominay. Still Forest in possession with Murillo, who's trying to find a way through but can't lose his possession. And the ball downfield. Danilo got his head to it. Garnacho's all over him. Garnacho got a touch. Now Giallo to Bruno Fernandes. Bruno Fernandes passed. Well, Rashford's run might well have been blocked by Murillo on the edge of the penalty area. The ball was way over their heads, and Rashford, after receiving the contact, went down and has taken a bang to the head because referee Robinson has had a look at him and immediately called across the physio to come on and give him some treatment.
There's a ball over the top that Marcus Rashford was chasing down, and I think it was him trying to initiate the contact because the ball was clearly out of his reach. He runs into the back of Murillo and he tries to initiate the contact, and in doing so he's hurt himself.
He has rolled over onto his back, and he has been moving his arms. He was waving his arms, and so Rashford is going to receive some treatment here. Whether it is actually a leg injury.
It's like his ankle, doesn't it? He's holding his ankle, his left ankle.
We've not actually seen it again, have we, the incident? So the ball was way over their heads, and whether Murillo actually just twisted his ankle as he went to the ground.
He kind of jars his left knee and ankle at the same time, doesn't he? It's certainly the left leg that the physio is treating, his knee and his ankle. But as he tries to initiate the contact, his studs just kind of get caught in the ground and he twists awkwardly.
Well, he's not had much joy again, Marcus Rashford, playing through the middle in the absence of Højlund. So a period of treatment for him. It is Nottingham Forest 0, Manchester United 0. This is 5 Live BBC Sound. 606 is on the way with Robbie Savage and Chris Sutton. 08085 909 693. All of the information, the match reports for today's football will be on the football pages of the BBC Sport website. I notice Simon Stone, our colleague, is here, and Simon has been busy this week with more editions of the How to Buy a Football Club podcast, so you can listen to that on BBC Sounds, the continuing saga of the purchase of just over a quarter of the club by the Ineos Group. So Dave Brailsford is here again, sitting down in front of us. The highlights of all these matches on Match of the Day tonight on BBC One or any time on the iPlayer, and the Football Daily podcast in the morning. Rashford has received his treatment. He's now left the pitch, and play resumes with a Nottingham Forest free kick. So, was that a goal kick? Yes, it was. It was a goal kick, as the ball's played into the centre circle. So the question is Rashford going to come back onto the field? I think he is.
He looks like he is. He looks fit. He looks like he's ready to come back on. The question I'd like to ask our listeners are Manchester United fans who will phone into Chris and Robbie 606, listening to in the car on the way home. Anthony Elanga or Anthony? I mean, you look at Elanga, you look at his goals, 4 and 19 for Forest, 3 and 39 for Manchester United, because he wasn't given the opportunity. What would Manchester United fans give now to have Elanga back in place of Anthony?
There you are. I hope Robbie and Chris are listening to that. 08085 909 693. Montiel. Now Dominguez! Right foot! Bottom corner! And Forest are in front against Manchester United! A poor display from Eric Ten Hag's side here tonight. And now they find themselves trailing again. And Nuno is surrounded by his coaches. This could be liftoff for Forest. 1-0 against Manchester United.
Well, it's really clever interchange play. The first time that Forest get the ball on the floor in the final third of the field, and it's Montiel gets the ball in the box really cleverly, looks up. Dominguez holds his run. He pulls himself back just around the penalty spot, and Montiel finds him with a really well-timed pass. And all Dominguez has to do, I say all he has to do, is find the back of the net, but he does it so well. side foot, across Anthony Onana into the far corner. Onana no chance. Great ball from Montiel, finds space in between Johnny Evans and the fullback. Great turn into Dominguez. He's got the easiest, well, he makes it look easy. It's a fantastic finish.
12-13 yards out, just swept it in from that pass, that square pass from Montiel. The only question is whether Montiel might have been in an offside position. And we have not had the restart yet. It did look quite tight, and it is a possible offside. Having seen it once, I just have a feeling he might have just been offside.
I looked at it, I looked at the replay, and I looked at the offside.
No,
it was Chris Wood they were looking at.
Onside. And play resumes, and it is Nottingham Forest 1, Manchester United 0. Nottingham Forest, who have lost their last 11 matches against Manchester United in all competitions. Manchester United with the ball on the edge of their own penalty area. They've not lost to Forest since 1994, when Stan Collymore and Stuart Pearce were on the score sheet. And in fact, they've not beaten them here since 1992. Here's McTominay on the right-hand side. Manchester United in severe danger of taking one step forward against Villa and taking two steps back here at the City Ground. Out of play for a throw into Manchester United, who are right under pressure here now, having not scored in their last 3 away matches. Bruno Fernandes with a cross, that's blocked out of play by Gibbs-White.
Well, it's a replica of the performance in the first half against Aston Villa from Manchester United so far in the game. They're going to have to find a performance like they had in the second half against Villa. Once again, they're going to have to come from behind.
Throw in for Manchester United, and Bruno Fernandes wins another throw off Danilo. Throw in, Bruno Fernandes takes it quickly along the dead ball line to Amad Diallo. Now Wan-Bissaka finds some space but couldn't cross it, tried to pull it back, it was blocked by Murillo, and the ball bounces out of play for a throw into Manchester United. Now this is all happening in front of the Bridgeford stand. It's where the Manchester United supporters are, and as far as I can see, almost all of them seem to be standing watching this. But it's like torture watching Manchester United, particularly away from home in December 2023. Ball's played across, Garnacho hits the volley down into the ground, but it bounces up and over the crossbar, with Matt Turner watching it just to make sure.
Well, I'm amazed how much space that Garnacho got round the back there, direct from the corner. Everybody seems to be attracted into the 6-yard box. Garnacho just pulls himself away at the far post onto the corner of the 6-yard box. Fernandes finds him on the volley, but once again he can't replicate that unbelievable bicycle kick that he had at Everton. He hit the ball into the ground and it went harmlessly over Matt Turner's bar after one bounce.
So it is Nicolas Dominguez who is the man who's making the difference, as Aina is adjudged to have fell Wan-Bissaka. It's a free kick to Manchester United halfway inside their own half. Yes, Nicolas Dominguez, one of last summer's arrivals here at the City Ground from Bologna, where he was playing in Italy, Argentine international. He was part of the deal that sent Remo Freuler the other way, but he took it extremely well, did Nicolas Dominguez, when it came to him. His second goal for Nottingham Forest, but that is a really famous one in front of the Trent end against Manchester United. But here's Diallo now receiving it from Rashford, running direct. Ericsson through the middle, now on the edge of the box. Garnacho with a shot, but that was blocked by Yates. Forest were back there in numbers just inside their own penalty area, and the ball eventually runs out of play for a throw on the far side.
Really good defending by Forest, but once again they seem to be sitting deep. They've scored the goal and they've retreated. They've allowed Manchester United possession. The worrying thing from the Forest point of view, you don't want to sit deep at this stage of the game. Over half an hour left in the game, they want to stay high up the pitch, keep pressing Manchester United and keep playing forwards.
Nottingham Forest 1, Manchester United 0. Manchester United looking at what would be their 14th defeat of the season in all competitions, and their 9th in the Premier League. That would be 9th out of 9 defeats out of 20 matches. Garnacho is challenged by Yates, stays down. Manchester United, though, in the green, white and black, continue to attack with Diallo, who's definitely brought something to him on his first appearance of the season. The number 16, Diallo, back behind him to Varane, and then Wan-Bissaka down the line to Bruno Fernandes, who will do well to reach that, does get there, crosses it, but controlled by Danilo and cleared, and then played back in by Varane. A high ball that Turner comes. and catches quite comfortably above Rashford's head.
Yeah, Jallo has certainly made a difference on this right-hand side for Manchester United. But you question what Manchester United have got on the bench, and you question what Erik ten Hag's doing. Whether it's actually, you don't question what he's doing, but you question what resources he's looking at, what plan. He talks after every game about the plan, about the process, about the time it's going to take. But then he's just plucked him out of nowhere, and he hasn't been in the squad, he hasn't been involved, yet he's brought him on. Is it something he's seen in training? Is it something he's worked on? Or is he just literally trying something on a match day?
Nottingham Forest 1-0 up, that goal in the 64th minute, and we now have 20 minutes to play, just 20 minutes to go here at the City Ground as Forest win a free kick on the far side. Another huge cheer goes up, and Forest will be in no hurry to take this after the foul on Alanga on the far side. It'll be a great night in Nottingham tonight if Manchester United are beaten in that vibrant city, formerly known as Snottingham from the early days, when a chieftain named Snot ruled this area. That was Friday's fact of the day, which I correctly picked out on Drive every Friday, 5:25. Don't miss it. It's Chris Warburton's question this week, but I was able to outwit him. Free kick for Nottingham on the right-hand side. One of the great English cities, I think, Nottingham. Great place to visit. Free kick on the right. Gibbs-White, high ball into the penalty area, headed away, comes to the edge of the box. Wan-Bissaka jumping through it as well. Eriksson, and the referees spotted an infringement by Yates, and a free kick to Manchester United. Now they are in a hurry. This is trouble again for Manchester United. It's a running theme of this season, Paul.
It is, absolutely, especially away from home. I mean, you keep talking about it, three away games without scoring. This could be four, and this is not just Manchester United, is it, that you're used to seeing and used to watching. I mean, such a huge football club in the position that they're in. It was a great performance against Aston Villa, but they need to carry it on.
Here they are, Garnacho in full flight, but runs into a challenge from Niakate, who comes out with the ball. Excellent defending from him. Niakate, who is in the Senegal squad for the Africa Cup of Nations, so they'll lose him, Forest. But here they come. Eriksson, ball on the left-hand side, drills it in from out on the flank, and that was straight into the chest of goalkeeper Turner, who was able to catch it cleanly.
Yeah, already you can see Turner thinking about game management there. He didn't know whether to go to ground, go to his knees. I think he caught that ball, looked at the stadium clock and thought, a bit too early to fall down.
Aina now, Nottingham Forest thinking of perhaps a second goal. That would put them in dreamland. Played forward but off Wan-Bissaka. Danilo beats Eriksson to it. He had no right there to win that ball. Danilo, excellent, great hunger. Gibbs-White now from Alanga. Gibbs-White stabs it into the penalty area, but it bounces through to Onana, who was able to pick it up and ball it out towards the left-hand side. Forest are going to make another change. Nico Williams is going to come on, the former Liverpool man, the Welsh international full-back, as Manchester United played up to Garnacho and Alejandro Garnacho. There's 2 goals against Villa. I mean, he looks arguably the most likely source of something for Manchester United. Bruno Fernandes goes down in centre field, no free kick, and then Forest overhit the pass forward Danilo, and it's through for a throw into Manchester United.
Bruno Fernandes' body language that we've seen so many times, the frustration, the dropping of the shoulders, the shrugging of the shoulders, the moaning to the referee. He got caught in the middle of the field there, went down holding his ankle. As soon as he didn't get the free kick, he got up, started moaning at the referee, talking to his teammates. He looks dejected again, does Fernandes.
So Williams is going to come on. Ryan Yates has sat down now. So whether this will mean a rethink by Forest, and actually I see them getting Callum Hudson-Odoi ready as well down on the side of the pitch. That would be a positive move to bring him on. Nico Williams is receiving some further instructions, so we're going to see at least one change for Forest. Lines open for 6 or 6. Plenty to talk about here. It's a familiar theme. Manchester United's shortcomings coming forward. They've hit the post with that shot from Dalot, and Garnacho had that effort in the second half, but just not enough in terms of chance creation. And so Forest are going off Montiel, so this is a straight swap. Nico Williams coming on for him. Gonzalo Montiel, the World Cup winner, who just returned against Newcastle after a spell out. He's not really had much football this season, just 7 appearances, so Nuno's being careful with his fitness and bringing Nico Williams on to replace him. But I think Yates is going to be okay to continue, is he?
Looks like Yates is okay, and Montiel, he can take great pride in his performance today, and especially with his assist just before he comes off there. Marshalled the right-hand side of the pitch for Nottingham Forest very, very well. Got forward very well, and as I say, got his assist.
Yeah, great energy. Some of the great stories, wasn't it, the fact that he scored the winning penalty in the World Cup final and then went on to score the winning penalty in the shootout in the Europa League final last season. Amazing. What a double. And he's off the field. I think Callum Hudson-Odoi is still expecting to come on because he's not put his tracksuit top back on. Or whatever, however many layers he's got. It is dry still at the moment. Nottingham Forest leading by 1-0. Time running out for Manchester United, facing the possibility of 4 consecutive defeats away from home in the Premier League. That's not happened since 1989, when the man who is sitting down in the director's box not far away from us, Sir Alex Ferguson, was the manager. Varane, right for the ball out towards the far side, but Alanga got his head to that, back into the penalty area. It's left by Williams, who was being fouled by Garnacho. Eventually passed it back to Turner, but was fouled, and it's a free kick.
That's so frustrating from a Manchester United point of view, because Williams is going nowhere there, the Nottingham Forest defender. Garnacho's closing him down. Williams is in possession, running towards his own goalkeeper, and Garnacho needlessly puts 2 hands in the middle of his back and pushes him over and gives him a way out.
We've got confirmation that this has been in the offing over the course of the last couple of days from Tottenham, that Hugo Lloris, the former captain, is leaving Tottenham after 11 years and 447 appearances. He's going to be at the match tomorrow, the Bournemouth match, which you can hear on Sports Extra, so you'll get his chance to say goodbye. So Hugo Lloris leaving Tottenham, sitting next to a former Tottenham goalkeeper here, Paul Robinson.
Yeah, he's the best goalkeeper they've had for a few years. Yeah, he's been a fantastic servant.
He's been go back to Ray Clemens.
Oh, he's been a fantastic servant for the club, is Hugo.
Oh, Turner's missed his kick. The ball bounces in the air. Rashford's in there. Oh, and defender Niakate was holding off Rashford, and Turner escaped.
He's caught his own ball. So you know, like when you play in the park with those airflow balls and it's windy.
Is that a back pass?
Yeah, well, he kicked it up. It blew back over his head, and he was lucky, and it bounced, and he caught it again. Just like when you're in a park as kids playing with a light ball, kick it into a wind, and it blew back over his head, and he caught his own pass.
Well, that could have delivered an equaliser to Manchester United. This might. Garnacho running free away from Danilo. Niakate puts in the challenge, and it bounces, I think, onto Danilo, who is still chasing, and back to Turner. I mean, this has the look of desperation from Manchester United.
Better from Manchester United, showing intent, and it's that man Garnacho again. They've got forward intent, but without real quality. But anything that they're doing, and they're doing well. Nottingham Forest seemingly causing their own problems, but it's Garnacho at the heart of it. He's the one that's setting the press. He's the one that's getting the ball. He's very, very direct. But at this stage now, anything will do for Manchester United.
We're into the last 15 minutes here at a breezy city ground on the south side of the city of Nottingham, and it is Yates. Seems okay, plays the ball infield. Alanga rubs his foot over the ball, but McTominay steps in, and the ball is deflected back to the halfway line. Gibbs White, strong from him. Bruno Fernandes though comes in, good challenge from him to win the ball back from Manchester United. Goes for a long pass. This is for Rashford to chase, but Niakate, who's been excellent, the Senegal defender, gets to it first, but Turner's giving it away to Garnacho. Garnacho plays it across, first time shot. Rashford 1-1, tucks it away. Superb finish from Marcus Rashford. We've seen too little of that from him this season, but he's found it there, and he might have rescued Manchester United in this match. Just his 3rd goal of the season. Nottingham Forest 1, Manchester United 1.
Well, it's that man Garnacho again, closing down, causing problems, winning possession back from Manchester United, slots it into the pass to Marcus Rashford, side foot, Turner's left-hand corner. Great finish from Marcus Rashford. Had a quiet afternoon, but when needed, when called upon, he's there. But Nottingham Forest once again causing their own problems. Niakate on the initial through ball gets the right side of Rashford. He plays plays the ball back to his goalkeeper. All his goalkeeper needs to do is to clear his lines. He tries to be clever. He tries to play a ball into midfield to Danilo. Garnacho cuts it out, passes it to Rashford, goal. Talked about Turner causing problems in the first half with his playing out from the back, with his overplaying. There was no need for him to try and be clever to play a ball into midfield there. All the goalkeeper needed to do was clear his lines. He did. Garnacho pounced, found Rashford, and what a custom finish that was.
Yeah, that was more like it from Marcus Rashford, certainly. From an angle on the left-hand side of the box, just picked this spot and found the bottom corner across Turner, who, is culpable there, most certainly. Turner's pass out, he passed it directly straight out of his penalty area, passing it down the middle, but didn't put enough on it, and Garnacho was able to slide in, intercept it, and it was Garnacho who set up Rashford to make it 1-1.
Well, there was no danger. Niakate had negated the danger. He'd cut the through ball out, he'd got between the goalkeeper and Marcus Rashford, passed the ball back to his goalkeeper, and you're thinking, okay, go on then, clear it. But he doesn't. He tries to be clever, he tries to overplay, and the ball gets cut out, and they've caused their own problems again from being a position of strength, Nottingham Forest.
Well, there was a spell, wasn't there, towards the end of his time when Steve Cooper preferred Vlachodimos, the Greek international, but Turner, certainly that goes down as an error, and it's costly. That tends to be what happens to you when you're down at the bottom of the league. Forest just a couple of points above the relegation zone. You know, this would be such a big win for them had they been able to see it out. Might win yet, of course. Nuno has brought on Hudson-Odoi for the Forest goal scorer, Dominguez. So Hudson-Odoi taking up this position here on the left-hand side, the England international. Here is Garnacho now flying into the penalty area, defenders back in there, and it's brought away in the end for Forest by Nico Williams, who clears it to the halfway line. Danilo now, centrally. Danilo manages under pressure from Rashford to work it, and here's Hudson-Odoi into the action for the first time. Hudson-Odoi, the former Chelsea man, bringing it forward, then giving it to his left, to Aina, another former Chelsea man. Hudson-Odoi on the overlap, left-footed cross, but there's no one there at the back post, although Dallo has miscontrolled that, and Gibbs-White was almost onto it, and Dallo, in the end, just had to lift it into the lower tier of the Brian Clough stand on the far side.
I'm still irked by goalkeepers playing out too much, John, and overplaying. What they're taught on the training ground and what the manager asked them to do, they take the decision away from the goalkeeper sometimes. I mean, in the first half we talked about Murillo's defending, I think it was, or was it Montiel on the right hand side? He put it into Rosette and said try and score from there. If Turner does that, Nottingham Forest are still 1-0 up.
It was costly, and the goal from Rashford making it 1-1. Lines open for 606 to talk to Robbie Savage and Chris Sutton. 08085 909 693. Forest long throw into the Manchester United box. Eriksson was able to head it away. Williams heads it back towards the edge of the United box, but United clear, and Bruno Fernandes downfield. Garnacho might have been offside. Garnacho against Niakate. Niakate does well, nimble defender he is, and then Garnacho rolls it back. Shot from Eriksson, good save from Turner, comes out to Jallo. Jallo's ball across the penalty area is behind everyone, whether in red or green, and actually has set Forest off on a counter-attack, and Yates carrying it over the halfway line, gives it to Alanga. Chris Wood waiting in the middle. Alanga still on the ball, square from him. Gibbs-White. Oh, what a finish! 2-1 Forest, tucked away beautifully, and Forest are back in front, and that's how to counter-attack. Forest 2, Manchester United 1.
That's all come from the Nottingham Forest goalkeeper Turner, making a decent save, but he pushes it out and he pushes it into an area where it allows Yates to get possession. He strides into the Manchester United half. They're 4-on-4. He finds Alanga on the right hand side, who drives at the box, drives at the Manchester United back four. Morgan Gibbs-White is clever, he doesn't run into the box, everyone else does. He holds his run, he holds outside the box. Alanga rolls it across the box to him, and with his instep curls it into Onana's bottom left hand corner. What a cultured finish from Morgan Gibbs-White.
Morgan Gibbs-White turns down there and he makes the heart signal with his hands to the Forest fans in the Trent end. Absolutely buried it was. Edge of the area, he picked this spot, he executed it brilliantly.
Manchester United overcompensated, threw far too many players forward. They had a great chance. Christian Eriksen had a really good strike on goal, which Turner saved. As I say, turnover of possession, but within 2 passes, Nottingham Forest are on the edge of Manchester United's box. Elanga finds Gibbs White, and he does what he's done all season, finds the back of the net.
I mean, he did. There was no one with Gibbs White as he moved forward and took up a position in the D, inside the D, to strike it away right-footed beyond the dive of Anana to his left. And Manchester United, who thought they'd rescued the situation after capitalising on the error from Matt Turner when Rashford scored to make it 1-1. Well, here we are, 2-1 down now. And actually, as Paul Robinson rightly says, Matt Turner making a really important save, which actually led to the counter-attack, which led to the second Forest goal.
Well, it's a really important save, and there was nobody in a Nottingham Forest shirt that celebrated that goal more than Matt Turner. It was a difficult save down to his left-hand side. He didn't try and catch it. He parried it, but he parried it into an area that wasn't dangerous. Forest regained possession and went down the other end and got their goal.
So again, Manchester United staring at defeat here, and time running out. 6 minutes of the 90 to play, plus added time. Referee's blown his whistle, I think, for a Forest free kick. He has the challenge on Elanga, and Nuno's going to make another change. In fact, it's going to be a multiple change. Willy Bolly, who's back today after suspension, missed the match at Newcastle. He's coming on. Also, so is Harry Toffolo. So presumably Aina's coming off. And I think it's going to be a triple change that Forest make to try and see this through to what would be a famous victory here at Forest. They've not beaten Manchester United this century, going way back into the 90s. And for Nuno, in only his 3rd match in charge, his first win here at the City Ground as the Forest manager. Suddenly Steve Cooper will be becoming part of Nottingham Forest history.
Results are what are important, isn't it? Football players and football managers are judged on results. And with Nuno's result at Newcastle, that just emphasises what a 3 points that was. If they'd have come here today and they'd have got turned over and they'd have got beat, that 3 points might be isolated. But with another 3 points today, if that's how it pans out, it's a huge 6 points in a week.
Well, Forest fans were, many of them, so sorry to see Steve Cooper leave, but I know that some sang Nuno's name high up in the stand at the Leazes End at St James's Park on Boxing Day night, and we might have a chorus of Nuno if they hang on for victory here. He's standing there, the tall Portuguese with his arms crossed. Nuno, always an absolute pleasure to deal with. Whenever I've interviewed him, Paul, he's always called me Sir for some reason. I don't know whether he does that to everyone.
And rightly so, royalty of BBC Radio 5 Live.
So we're going to have a protracted series of substitutions here. Danilo is going to be coming off, which is a little bit of a surprise. He's been excellent. Mangala's going to come on to replace him in midfield. Oral Mangala, the Belgian international. And which central defender's coming off, or is he going to go to 3 at the back? Yeah, that looks as though what he's doing. It's Anthony Elanga who's making way. So Willy Bolly coming on. So Nuno, who as has been widely said, loves his 3 at the back, and that's what he's going to do to try and preserve this victory, these 3 points for Nottingham Forest. So Anthony Elanga is being applauded off. He's decided to go off on the far side, which was admittedly the closest point to him, but it means that he's had a very good game against his former club. The Swedish international is now walking round behind the goal, walking in front of the Trent end, and he's encouraging those supporters. He's going to high-five. I think he's high-fiving some photographers there, but he's looking for supporters, and play gets back underway as Elanga makes his way around the pitch, and that's the foul by Mangala. First thing he's done into the game is upend Diallo. It's a free kick near the halfway line. Manchester United chasing the equaliser here. This could be a thrilling last 3 minutes plus added time. It really could, because Manchester United, they've got no alternative. They've got to go for it.
No, and those 3 changes from Nuno, they're very, very defensive changes, almost to the point of we're going to try and hold Manchester United. We're going to see what they can do between now and the end of the game. In the 88th minute, there's going to be a lengthy time added on after this game, but they are going to be spending a lot of it defending Nottingham Forest.
They are. Free kick taken short by Manchester United. Bruno Fernandes curls it in long into the penalty area. It bounces towards Garnacho, who chases after it. and that is given as a corner. Forest are furious about that. I mean, a number of players went up together. Referee Robinson has seen that coming off a Nottingham Forest head. It's given as a corner to Manchester United. I think it's just the second corner Manchester United have had, but it is nevertheless a set piece, a chance for them. And I think it did come off Johnny Evans' head. It should have been a goal kick, but we've had a chance to see the replay here. So again, set piece, Manchester United trailing 2-1. The corner is fired in straight into the gloves of Turner, who's able to catch it and then fall to the ground.
Yeah, Bruno Fernandes on the edge of the box. Christian Eriksen's put the corner into the box. He's just lifted it in, an easy catch for Turner. Bruno Fernandes is going mad at Christian Eriksen.
See, Sergio Reguilon is waiting to come onto the field. We'll bring you the live interviews as well from down in the tunnel area here at the City Ground during the course of 606 as well. But lines are open, 08085 909 693 to join in with Robbie Savage and Chris Sutton once we wrap things up. Free kick given for a high foot against Varane, and here's the change, and it is Aaron Wan-Bissaka coming off. So this is I think the third change that has been made by Erik ten Hag. So Reguilon is across to the left hand side, and Dalot comes to the right, having been playing as the left back. And Gibbs White clears the ball away under pressure. He's claiming that he was bundled over, wanted a free kick. It's not given. We're in the 90th minute now after all of those substitutions, and time rapidly running out for Manchester United, facing a fourth successive away defeat in the Premier League here. Eriksen playing the ball from deep, but overhits it all the way through to Turner. And any number of Nottingham Forest supporters in the stands down in front of us tell him, as if he didn't know, to take as long as he can.
I'm still trying to work out Erik ten Hag's substitution now. I mean, he's brought Wan-Bissaka off, and he's brought Dalot over to the right-hand side and Reguilon over to the left-hand side. I was expecting Reguilon to go higher up, play an attacking position, but he hasn't.
Well, it's 10 minutes of added time, which, even by current standards, feels like a lot.
You never know what to expect there. But we haven't had any VAR checks that the referees had to go to the screen. Yes, we've had a number of substitutions, but 10 does seem excessive.
Yeah, we had a shortish one, didn't we, to see if the first Nottingham Forest goal was onside, but it was. Dominguez and Gibbs White, the goal scorers for Forest. Marcus Rashford briefly brought it back to 1-1, but within 5 minutes Forest were back in front for that excellent finish from Morgan Gibbs White, his second goal of the season, first from open play. Morgan Gibbs White being so important, played in all of the matches this season for Nottingham Forest. Garnacho now down the left foot, overhit, Reguilon chasing it, but there's no way he was going to catch that. And suddenly the heavens open above the City Ground again, and it looks as though this match will finish in very heavy rain, but no one here will care, not when they get into some of those excellent pubs in the centre of Nottingham tonight and celebrate this. Well, they've not been able to celebrate a win over Manchester United for, well, it's more than a generation.
Huge win for Nottingham Forest if they're able to see this game out, and the City Ground are certainly playing their part in helping their team over the finish line.
Goal kick for Forest. So 10 minutes of added time. Anything could happen during the course of that period, but Forest are in front, and they would go above Brentford after their latest defeat today. So 6:06, at least 10 minutes away. Forest on the back foot now. Manchester United have to go gung-ho. Here's Johnny Evans. Johnny Evans plays it square to Eriksen. Eriksen looks to his right, then finds Varane. Varane allows the ball to run. Manchester United fans at that end urging Manchester United to attack, as they always have done over the years. Evans, ball over the top. That's headed away by Niakate. Bounces for Reguilon to jump against Gibbs White, who goes down. There's been a contact between the two of them, whether it is a head injury or not, that's what referee Robinson's worried about. And Gibbs White has gone down flat on his face. He's kicking his right foot against the turf, and the physios are waved on.
the substitutions that Nuno's made, we said that they were going to go to a back five, and they are very, very deep out of possession of Nottingham Forest. They've gone to a back five, four sitting in front of them. But what they have done very, very well when defending, they've pushed their wing backs out to press Manchester United. They've kept Manchester United very, very narrow. The last thing they want is for Manchester United to get wide, for Diallo, for Garnacho to get round the outside. Everything's been far too straight, far too direct from Manchester United's point of view. They've got to move the ball quicker, they've got to try and get in behind, but this solid red wall at the moment seems hard to get through.
Paul Robinson with us on 5 Live here at the City Ground, a noisy City Ground. We're in the 4th minute of added time, so there'll be more than 10 now, because that was lengthy treatment for Gibbs White, who is okay, back on his feet. And Manchester United, they came from behind to win on Boxing Day night, but whether they're going to be able to do it here at the City Ground is highly questionable now. Ericsson playing it out to the left-hand side. Garnacho cuts in field. Garnacho's ball into the penalty area, bounced off a defender. Toffolo hit him. 1 or 2 shouts from the Manchester United supporters for handball, but if it did strike his arms, they were down by his sides. Nico Williams in the right-back position slides in to scoop the ball away out of play. For Troy, and it is very much going to be eyes right for the remainder of this match, with Forest a slender lead. Gallo now, forward of the centre circle, to the right-hand side, to Ahmed Diallo. Now back to Varane. Varane in a short pass to Ericsson, gets the ball under control, gives it to Garnacho. Garnacho running at the Forest defenders. Again, both Yates and Williams are in there. It's played across, comes off Williams in the end. It's another corner to Manchester United.
Pressure mounting from Manchester United. They're getting a lot of possession, but they're not quite getting through. They're knocking at the door. Everybody's committed forward. Every single outfield player, while Bruno Fernandes and the goalkeeper Onana are in the box.
2-1 Forest lead. Ericsson has gone across there to take it. Come on, you Forest. The noise comes from the other end of the stadium, from out of the Trent end. Ericsson waiting to take this. Players massed around just outside the 6-yard box mainly. Here's the delivery from the corner. It's to the edge of the box, and a volley from Bruno Fernandes, deflected and pushed up and over the crossbar by Turner. Took a big deflection, it bounced up. Turner reacted. It was a reaction stop, just pushed it up, and for a moment I think he thought it might drop in under the crossbar, but in fact onto the roof of the net.
Decent reaction save from Matt Turner there. It was the corner from Manchester United that we saw years ago at Bradford. Beckham to Scholes, but Fernandes just didn't quite connect.
Another corner, they're going for it again to Bruno Fernandes, who had to stretch for it. Ball into the penalty area, scraped away by Forest. They have everyone back. So Reguilon chasing after the ball, he's the only one. Gives it to Ericsson. Ericsson high ball now in from the angle. It's over the top of Evans, McTominay, and it bounces into the path of Yates, who's able to strike it downfield. Gibbs White is chasing it, but he doesn't look, he looks as though he can barely keep his feet. Gibbs White, he was down injured a moment ago, and Diallo easily wins the ball back from him. How long have we had now, Paul? We've had 6 minutes of the 10 of added time, but I reckon there'll be at least 11, possibly 12 to add on as Nottingham Forest win a free kick inside their own half. I mean, Niakate went down there. Rashford was closest to him, and I think the assistant was given it.
Yeah, I think he's given the free kick or offside coming back from Rashford. But Nottingham Forest are really hanging on like we predicted. It will be defence against attack. Manchester United are dominating possession, putting balls into the box. We're seeing the replay again of Bruno Fernandes' strike that deflects off Murillo from the corner. Like we said, it was that one that we saw years ago from Paul Scholes at Bradford when he volleys it in. Fernandes just doesn't quite connect. He bounces onto the floor, hits into the pack of bodies in Nottingham Forest's box, and Turner is able to turn it over.
2-1 Nottingham Forest lead. 5 Live from the BBC. 6:06 on the way to talk to Robbie Savage and Chris Sutton. Lines are open. Give them a call. More Manchester United talk after this, I'm absolutely certain. Rain continues to sweep across the City Ground as Manchester United continue to sweep from left to right. Garnacho coming infield. Garnacho being chased all the way by Williams, who's come out of the right back position, so has to drop back in there as Manchester United played out to Diallo on the right hand side. Ahmed Diallo into the penalty area, left foot shot straight at Turner, who's able to fall forward onto his knees and grab the ball into his chest.
Gets himself in a really good position there, this Diallo. Cuts it in off this right hand side, gets it on his left foot, gets into the box where Toffolo can't touch him, opens up the whole goal, and then it's a really poor strike. You think he's going to go across Turner into the far side, he just curls it into the goalkeeper's chest harmlessly.
Tottenham fans might want to call as well to Robbie and Chris to say a few words about Hugo Lloris after the confirmation that he is leaving the club. Here is Forest with Hudson-Odoi, who's got the ball inside Manchester United territory. It bounces out of play. Referee's not sure. Neither is the assistant. The referee gives it, and then belatedly the assistant also flags that way, and it's cheers from the Forest fans. I'm sure they knew.
Neither of them had a clue.
I'm sure they knew.
John, honestly, neither of them had a clue. I was watching the pair of them. One guessed and the other one went with it.
However, they've given it to Forest, so it's gone down well. Toffolo takes the throw, which is beyond Hudson-Odoi, and Varane very nearly passed it straight to Gibbs White. Downfield from Dalot. Got a good strike on that. Bounces back after being headed away by Williams. Now Reguilon passes it down the left wing to Garnacho, and Garnacho tries to round Williams, who's done well, has gone with him, he's beaten him brilliantly. Garnacho again, and then Williams slides in. Garnacho falls over the top of him. The ball's loose near the corner flag. There's another Forest man in there as well, and Garnacho in the end, through sheer frustration as much as anything else, concedes the free kick. It was being shielded from him, and he's effectively landed on top of Yates and conceded the free kick.
Nico Williams does so well. Stands Garnacho up, and Garnacho, we know he's full of tricks, gets round him once, but Williams stands up and he holds his ground, wins the ball back, puts himself between the player and the ball, and he gets his side a really needed free kick.
Well, it's turned out to be quite an event, hasn't it, Paul? I mean, poor first half, really poor.
But I think you were kind at half-time, John.
Well, but if you've just switched on, we are still playing, and we are in the 10th minute of added time, and Nottingham Forest are seconds away from what, without question, will be a famous victory. They've not beaten Manchester United since 1992. The March of 1992, when indeed there was still football before the Premier League. The ball being played across. That's the last time they won here at the City Ground against Manchester United. Ball played across for Manchester United. Turner comes, gets his hands to it, pats it down, and then falls on it. And again will climb slowly to his feet and looks all around the City Ground. They're preparing, they're getting their scarves ready, they're getting to their feet. We are in the 11th minute of added time. Nuno is saying, come on, how much time is there to play? Palms wide apart, but there was that lengthy stoppage in added time. We could yet have a couple of minutes. There might be time for Manchester United yet. Fernandes, a low pass across field to Garnacho. Garnacho carries it to the edge of the box. Across from Reguilon, has gone a long way. Amadello, Eriksson turns it wide from 10 yards. And Eriksson falls onto his knees and slaps the surface of the pitch. That is it. It's defeat again for Manchester United. For a fourth consecutive match away from home in the Premier League. And Erik ten Hag stands like a statue momentarily just to try and take it all in. Yet another defeat. Manchester United 14th of the season in all competitions, and then walks across to a jubilant Nuno, who's just seen his new Forest team win for him here at the City Ground for the first time, and 2 wins in a row. He's won 2 of his first 3, and Nottingham Forest suddenly feels good again.
2 huge angles to look at this game from a perspective. Let's look at the Nottingham Forest angle first. What a fantastic performance at home after losing 4 consecutive games here at the City Ground. They go to Newcastle, they get a brilliant win. They put in a performance today. It wasn't of the class of last week against Newcastle. It was gritty, it was determined, it was hard working. Manchester United, on the other hand, they had to come back from behind, but once doing that, they weren't able to sustain the performance. Again, it wasn't good enough from too many players in a Manchester United shirt, too many players underperforming, but they came up against a side that were full of pride, full of passion, full of belief under the new manager, and Nottingham Forest have just earned another massive 3 points.
So the reason you're hearing these celebrations, this applause, these songs inside the City Ground, this is because 11 consecutive times they've lost in matches against Manchester United. They've not beaten them since Old Trafford in 1994. They've not beaten them here at the City Ground since March 1992, when there was a Clough on the scoreboard. Nigel Clough scored the only goal. So a huge boost for Nottingham Forest to take 6 points from their last two matches. But for Manchester United, a huge step forward with the second half against Aston Villa on Boxing Day night, but a big step back here. And now this Manchester United team, I say it's 14 defeats in all competitions before the turn of the year. That's not happened to a Manchester United team since 1930. The figures don't look good for them and Eric Ten Hag.
Well, questions again will rear their head about the manager. We've seen the hierarchy of the club changing behind the scenes slowly and gradually. Who's there to make footballing decisions? Really interested to hear from Manchester United fans. What do they think of that performance? What do they think of the manager? Is it time for a change? Give Robbie and Chris a ring.